Hello? Can everyone hear me? Can everyone hear me? Ira, can you hear me? Okay, welcome everyone. Oh, it's okay, you're on auto mute. Okay, so maybe we can turn that off in the next couple sentences. Okay, so I'm gonna see if we can get the mute turned off for everyone, because it's no. I like when people benefit from other people's questions as well. So my name is Abe Golko, and one second, let me just share my application. No. Can everyone see my desktop? My Windows desktop? Okay, great. So, welcome. My name is Abe Golko. I do a bit of web development. I work for a hedge fund. I do various programming, all types of goodies. I own a software company. Sold it. Married 4 kids. Have a wife, a dog, and a bird. So, welcome to the show here. So, this course is basically designed to help you learn some basic tools, but these basic tools will go a long way with respect to, learning you how to do web development, to mobile application development. And if you want to attach to a back-end server process to get information or to other things, we will have the basic understanding and knowledge to do that. These are the tools that I'll be teaching you: Adobe Flash Professional, PHP, and MySQL. They're very, very powerful. People have built major websites with these tools. Mostly all the games that you see in the marketplace are built with Adobe Flash. And there's other tools by Adobe called Adobe Flex, which is a little more of the hardcore programming. But we're not going to do that. We're just going to learn Adobe Flash Professional, and teach you how to develop applications there, and learn their own development environment called ActionScript, which is just like Java but much simpler. It's pretty simple. One second. Please go on. Guys, bear with me for 1 second. We have someone needs to call in. So, any questions you need, just hit the chat, and I'll be happy to address them. So, has everyone been able to install EasyPHP and Adobe Flash Professional? Yes or no? And any no's, just hit the text box. I want to make sure that everyone has the tools they need, right? So we don't move on until everyone has the correct tools. So, for example, just installing EasyPHP. Not yet. Okay. Okay. So, has everyone got the tools down to their computer? Okay, we'll actually address that. Okay, so a lot of no's and yeses here. That's actually fine. So pretty much, once you actually download EasyPHP, so you guys are gonna go to the website and you're gonna download EasyPHP, and it is a MSI installer, and just install EasyPHP. But when it installs, make sure you guys install it to someplace very local. So for example, I put my EasyPHP right here in my c:_s. You can put in c:temp. Yes, this is all free. So Adobe Flash is not free. There's actually a 30-day license on there, but you can keep on installing Adobe Flash as long as you want to. They've assured me at Adobe that you can install it as many times as you want, and the license will keep on become recurring. I'm trying to get them to work with. I'm trying to get to work with Adobe so we can get Adobe Flash Professional for a 90-day licensing for free. But hopefully we can get that near the end of the class. So, secondly, another question that hit. So EasyPHP is a program that contains everything you need. It has an Apache web server, basically HTTP web server. It has PHP built in. It also has MySQL, and also has MySQL admin, which is how we're going to admin the database. Let me just pop it up here. Every web. Let me just pop it for you. So when you get EasyPHP started, any version of EasyPHP is fine. You actually want to get the most current one. You can download anything. So when you click on admin, this is what we're going to see. Oh, I hate the Bing. Okay, can't stand Bing. So this is what you're going to see. So every hosting, you go from Microsoft to Linux to whatever hosting environment. Yeah, these are the basic tools you're going to have. You're going to have. Okay, so what's basically going on is that you're going to have a basic web server, could be IIS, running with PHP, and you'll have MySQL, which is free, and then MySQL admin, which is a very simple web interface to, can't, there's no way to get an audio. Can't call, bear with me for a second. We have some call-in issues over here. So, bear with everyone here as we're trying to get people all connected in. I'll just keep on repeating myself over and over. I'm monologue it. I have a sore throat. I've been screaming all day at people. But any type of hosting any type of hosting that you're going to pay for, free or not free, you will have these basic tools. Very funny. I don't see my kids all day. They're in camp. We're actually in Camp Morshaw, so 3 of them there, 1 home, so he's in camp as well. So just people who work for me, I scream at, because I hate listening. So going on here is that this EasyPHP is called WAMP. It actually is a full web server. Apache. It's a Windows Apache WAM. MySQL and PHP, WAMP. And if people do own Mac OS, you actually have a MAMP. You have a version of MAMP you can get as well. But if you host anywhere, these are basic tools you have, and they're so powerful. PHP is very powerful. MySQL is powerful. Facebook runs on MySQL. Facebook runs on MySQL. Like it's the whole back-end infrastructure looks on MySQL with other type of programming languages. So it's very powerful. So basic web server, we can use IIS. I just find IIS to be very difficult to use. It's pretty bad. But it doesn't make it matter wherever you host from using IIS. Basic tools of how you do your website. We're going to teach you of how to deploy a basic website, what tools you need. We have a question. Will this work with WordPress? Answer is yes. So there are tons of plugins into into EasyPHP for this type of stuff, and all these any type of hosting environment you're going to have that you're going to pay for $2, $3, $9. All comes these basic tools. They're all free. MySQL, PHP, MySQL admin. And they'll come with WordPress. They'll come with all those crazy other names that you heard about. Centrino, all these types of languages. PHP has tons of great tools. Ruby on Rails, we mostly on those things if you want to learn that as well. But, in terms of learning some great tools to work with, I find that Flash Professional, in terms of what it does, it gives you everything you need to create a website, talk to a back end. From the actual, Flash Professional project, you can actually export to a website. You can export to a mobile application, either iPhone or Droid, or actually for iPad. Any way to enable net calling option? No. So I'm taking a poll. Can everyone call in? Can everyone? So is anyone not besides one person that I know about? Can everyone hear me? All right, thank you, gentlemen, ladies. Loud and clear. Yes, good to hear. Just Yitzchak has a problem. So anyone who can't hear, I'll make sure you get the video because we can go back and I'll continue the video and you can actually hear this online. So if you can't dial again, Yitzchak, I'll be happy to have the people at OU to actually I can put this video and recording conference on a share for you, and you can actually listen to it as well. And also, I will complain to the person at OU of why can't you log in. So, listen, you're welcome to just watch what happens, but without the voice, it's hard to see what's going on. Another question that hit is that was support blah blah blah. Bear with me for a second while I find it. Okay, support for Flash currently on Apple mobile products video. Okay, so what happens is that going on the mobile side, these Flash products convert your Flash executable into a okay, so yeah, we can review we'll have these videos. You can review it online. It's pretty simple. I'll give you my email address too for any other questions outside the class you may have. But pretty much the Flash Professional Toolkit. Let me just pop that up, and we'll actually get you started in terms of. I know one person had a problem with Adobe, couldn't get it up, but we'll just get that again. Where'd mine go? Adobe go. Flash Professional. So with Adobe Flash Professional, it will actually export it to a native iPhone application package for you. So you don't have to worry about it being a Flash Lite or other things that will run on it. So when you export it, I'll just show you very quickly how that works. Let's just do a quickly action script application. So here, I'm going too fast. Just hit me up. So publish settings, very important. These are like the key things here. So here, you see stuff here for iOS and here for Android. What happened is if I click on this and I publish something, it will actually, you have to fill in some stuff, and we'll talk about that at the present time. We'll actually, I see a gray screen. Okay, we'll get you started in a second. Okay. So what's happening is once you're on air for Android, when you actually hit the publish button down there, you'll actually get a package. So you'll have to have some. So just FYI, you got to fill some other stuff in here. Deployment files, certificate passwords. We'll talk about all this stuff. You have to do some stuff. Maybe put some icons in there. Deployment, but pretty much, if it's iOS, Air for Android, or Air for iOS, it will actually create you a package that you just upload right into the store. So you have to first, if you want to publish on Apple, you have to pay $99 to Apple to have the, to actually publish on their, App Store. So it's $99. Rip off if you ask me. And then, you do some other things, and we'll talk about that. But primarily focusing on the Android marketplace, which is up and coming. The cost is $25. You can pretty much publish an Android. You can pretty much publish an Android application and just upload it right into there. Once you actually set your account up, you pay the $25, good to go. It's very simple to actually publish it. Go right there, and you can actually, and as soon as you publish it, you can have all your friends looking at your application very easily on Android. So in other words, once we develop anything inside Flash, we can then make a website, and SWF, it's a flashlight, and also if you look inside the window over on the publish settings, it actually creates a HTML wrapper for you, and we'll show you very quickly how to turn that, to actually to do something, make it will open up automatically when you open the browser up. So just being stupid, let's do something like this to show you very quickly. And then we'll address some other. We'll start with Flash here. No, it's not that one. Hold on. So we can open some templates up here. So I just moved over to Flash CS 5.5 just about a month ago. So it's actually new to me too. So if we go templates, click on that one. And I encourage people to play with this. You can't break it. You can uninstall it. You can't break it. So let's just go to sample files here. And let's just go to this over here. Click on this IK Stickman sample. Click OK. And you can pretty much, you can be a really big person with control test movie in Flash Professional and watch what happens. That's pretty slick. Now, once I have that going, you can, interesting enough, we'll teach you about some of the tools of how to make this happen. But I encourage people to, play with it. You can't break it. These things are here, or uninstall it, etc. So let's actually watch. If I go to, let's go to Publish Settings right now. Let's go to here. Click on the wrapper. So click OK. So let's just save this as somewhere. Save as. So blah 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 blah. See temp OS, and we'll just talk quickly about. We'll actually put it right in the test folder, and we'll tell you why we put it over there. So in Easy PHP, we'll actually show you how to do this as well. But let's just put it right there. Let's go one up on the WW level. Okay, I will slow down. I'm sorry about that. Thank you for telling me that. Okay, so we actually got the template up in front of us, and so we go to Control, Test Movie. Joseph, I can't hear you. Did you dial in? 1 second. So, Joseph, did you actually dial in? Oh, so one person got in, and we're just waiting for someone else to get in. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so can't hear you. Good point, Benjamin. I got you. All right, I think I'm an idiot tonight. Okay, so let me get people the number again. So 1 second. Let me find that number for everyone. Bear with me for a second. Does anyone have a number you can just post up on the chat for me? The dial-in number. Thank you. Appreciate that. Muchas gracias. All right, here you go. Okay, I will slow down on the Windows stuff. Great. Okay, someone's in. Okay, let me just make sure one more. Let's wait a minute or two. So I'm going to give you my outside email address. So any questions you have, you can hit me up or whatever you need. That's my outside email address. So questions, whatever you need. If you guys got a good idea on games or something, I give you some guidance. For website ideas, etc. I have a nice collection of private equity VC friends as well. So any good ideas, I'll be happy to hook you up with the right people. Whatever you need guidance in that area, it'll be my pleasure. Okay, so going forward, we open up this template, and so we're going to go to the control, and then we're going to go to test movie. So we're going to test movie in Flash Professional. That's actually going to test it, right inside the application. So can everyone see what I did? One second. Okay. So my name is Abe Golko. It's a tough last name, Golko. So. Excuse me. Okay, so as you get into test in Flash Professional, if I'm still going too fast, let me know. We're going to click on Flash Professional, and you'll see, that's what you'll see on your website. Interesting enough for Flash, the Flash is actually a vectorized engine that runs on your client application. It's the only technology, and Silverlight is catching up to it, is that what you see here is what goes on your web page, exactly how it is in terms of animation. It's a very hardened technology. It's been around for a long time, and as any game on the marketplace, you go from mini clips, you use Flash. I think Flash does not work on, Apple iOS. It's pretty stupid, but it works on. Actually, the machine I'm running on is actually a Mac. I have an iMac, and I actually have something called VMware that runs in Windows. That runs Windows. So with Flash, you can have Flash. You can use Flash on a Mac, Flash on Windows, and whatever you develop, it's the same. It's portable in terms of what you have. Is that once you have, one second. So let's go save as. Excuse me. Let's save as something. So I'm going to click on File, Save As. So pretty much what I'm doing right now, I'm just saving this default application. It's called SLA. It's like in each application you have their own proprietary format. In Microsoft Office, it's a doc for Word. Excel is XLS, but in Flash, it's a SLA. I'm actually saving it right to my easyphp www folder. We'll talk about that as well. No, we didn't miss anything there. I'm just giving like a high-level overview of what's going on. We're going to go through this in detail. So we're going to put this in the www folder. That's pretty much mimic exactly what your web folder is going to look like. And we'll call it entitled. We'll give it a save. There. So we save this now. And that SLA file is portable across all platforms you work with. So if you in 6 months from now buy a Mac, and you get Adobe Flash Professional, you can use that particular file there as well. So I'm going to go to File. I'm going to go to Publish Settings. We've been there a few times already. Click on Publish Settings. And just by using the basic settings over here, they're turned on. I'll put Files as Swift, SWF, and I have just basic settings of Flash and HTML wrapper, exactly what you have on there. If you have CS4, you're actually fine as well. But the problem with CS4 is that they actually don't have the up-to-date tools for actually publishing for mobile stuff. And so let me see, CS4, CS5. Just a question regarding CS4. The CS4 is still good. You can develop websites with it, and they did some extensions to actually publish to air, but it actually doesn't work well. There's a lot of bugs in it. So, so you should go down and try a load of CS 5.5, and you can uninstall it, install it, uninstall it, install it, uninstall it. So, I've talked to the Adobe people, their technical teams, their licenses doesn't hijack you once you actually uninstall and install it. So you can use it all you want to, install all day and night. You're fine now. Now look at that. So the FLA is actually the file, the work file, and the SWA is actually the output file that actually runs. It's like their own binary. It's their own binary of their own executable that actually runs on a website. What's these on iPads? So we'll talk about it in a second in terms of what's viewable on the iPad or iOS. But continue this example. If you just export, click OK on the dialog box, then you go to File, and if you go Publish, the basic Publish over here, Publish, it's going to publish something. So let's actually minimize. Thank you everyone for assisting me with the chat box. Can everyone see the chat box? Say no, just say no. When it says yes, just leave it there. But thank you very much for assisting me with all those links there. So let's just go there. Let me open up my C:OS. So here, I actually published to my www folder, and just looking what we have here, if you look in our Easy PHP window, with regard to, we have a test folder. Look at that. We got a test folder. And when I launch test folder, welcome to my custom page. So I actually have a thing called index.html. So we'll get the details of this, but every main website has index.html is such that every time you go to a folder, index.html or index.htm will be the first thing that's being called. It will actually open that automatically. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to rename index.html to index.back. So you can see I renamed it index_.back HTML, and I'm going to rename the -2HTML to index.html. So I'm going to rename it. So I renamed the untitled 2, and I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to just click inside my window again. Let me just load it. Let me just go back 1 second. So let's go to here. So here, I'm actually right there. So in other words, your first location. So this is actually running this through the actual our local web server, right here. So once again, in the real world, instead of having 127.7, you'd have a name www.mywebsite.com, and then this would be in your www folder. So 127.0.0 is actually going to loop back IP, or you can call it as localhost 8080, and so it's running on our localhost web server, which actually is pretty much running right over here. So the Easy PHP over here is our web server, basic Apache web server. Maybe I can blow this up for you guys, 200%. So I guess that's a little better. So right now you see the Easy PHP sits up on host name and port 8080 on port 88. Because Windows may have other things running on other ports right now, so we have a basic web server Apache running this as well. So in the real world, you just type in your www. How did you get Easy PHP? So Karen asked, how do you get Easy PHP? You just actually download it from the web. Google Easy PHP. I think someone posted that. So, and then download it, and it downloaded as an MSI, which is a Windows installer. Install it to maybe someplace very simple. Like, for example, I downloaded Easy PHP to install it to C_OS Easy PHP. And so any, as I said, any form of website or web hosting company, all you do is just put something up in the www folder and you're good to go. So the basic ingredients you need to publish would be your index.html and then the untitled. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to close out my Flash. So I'm going to exit Flash out. I'm going to save it. So we have it saved over there. So my Swift is out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy. I'm going to copy these two files in my test directory, which is one level. So, on a website you can have multiple folders. So I'm going to copy and move these into my test folder over here. I'll drag and drop that. Yes to all. So see, it's still working because once you load something up, it makes a lot. But if we're going to. So here, we're going to close this window up quickly. Then we'll launch it again. So we go to Easy PHP and we click on root. And you see, interesting, this time it didn't pop up the actual application because I actually removed the index.html and the flash over here. How did you set it up in the beginning? So when you actually run the MSI installer from Easy PHP, it'll ask you where to actually put Easy PHP. Like, and most of the time it puts it in C program files. I just don't like the program files directly because there's always a space in program files, and it makes things ugly at some point in time. So just you can put it in C colon itself there as well. Oh, you can't see other people's chat. No reason you can't see other people's chats. Oh, how come you can't see? Oh, that's a good point. Ooh, that's not good either. I thought everyone could see each other's chats over here. So, that's a good question. I'm sorry about that. So let me actually put that on my to-do list. 1 second. Let me just put my to-do list. Yeah, 100%. I agree. That one should be visible to everyone. Let me just put this on my to-do list. Remove. So Daniel said very interesting. Said everyone when typing should change the send to drop down to all people. Oh, okay. So there's actually a send to button. So it's a drop down button. Just put it to everyone, and they should see it. Can everyone do it? All right. Can everyone see? So I'm gonna start typing something. Let me know if everyone can see it. So maybe you can put it to all participants. So can you actually put to all attendees? Ouch. That sucks, doesn't it? Something so trivial thing like this is so difficult. 1 second, let me see if I can set this up on my side. Let me see. Does this work to host, presenter, and panelist? Okay, hold on. Let me see what's going on here. Options. Give me a second, ladies and gentlemen. View, blah, blah, blah. Total manage panels, invite line, polling, participants. Let's see. That sucks. I don't know. Can anyone see? I would just posted something. That sucks. All right. Okay, so thank you for the suggestion. Yeah, I'm looking for that. There should be an option on my end. Sign a presenter. No, I don't do that. Oh, no, that's a note. Give me a second while I check my menus out. Oh, thank you, Marion. I appreciate that. I teach the Excel class. Great. Thank you. Okay, it's not an option, so we can't do it, but we'll see if we can get this done, and maybe use some other chat program. Maybe we'll just all sign up on a chat program, and we'll just use that as well, or we'll get a conference calling service where we can all talk at the same time, so it'll be like one big party line on the OU dollar. So we'll do that. So that's my to do. As well as some of the to-dos. Okay, so we'll get that going next time. If you could just pop me email addresses, send me an email of all your email addresses, and I'll try to send out something that we could. Okay, so just send me your options or things that you worked in the past with, and we'll just converge on some technology and phone technology so we can have a big party line. Okay. Whatever you want. Ooh, you can tell me. Give me a second. Break something. Hello? Okay, so I tried well, okay, we'll just, before I break something on the phone stuff, so email me all your suggestions, your technologies beforehand, and we'll converge on a technology we can use in. Maybe I'll set up a conference line at my office. What I'll do is I'll set up a conference call from my office for a real professional system, and we'll go from there. So next time, so it'll be easier, and we can all talk at the same time. It's just we have to limit our talking. So let's do that, and we'll make that easier for next time, and I'll see about this IM system, this chat system here, how we can open it up, or I'll set something up we can use like, we can make a chat system if you want to in Flash. We can speak a simple chat system in Flash with PHP, so it's very simple to do. So maybe we'll work on that as one of our projects, as well as a game or something. But okay, we'll go from there. But let's just go on. So if we go to the website over here, since there's no index.html file, so you look at there, we have no files, but let's just go in the test directory. Look at that. So in the test directory, we have index.html. So we just look at my folder over here under test, and look at that. So here, the two basic files that you're going to need when you're publishing to a website is just index.html, the wrapper, and the untitled.swift file. That's all you need. This is all made for you automatically through Flash. Flash does all the lifting for you, in terms heavy lifting for you to get that going. Even when you go into the mobile world, let's just open up. Let's just go back for a second. Let's go back up there, and I'm going to click on evidencemantle.2FLA. I'm going to click on that. I clicked on it, and I'm going to launch Adobe Flash Professional. So let's actually wait on the good suggestion. So there's a Google Plus good suggestion you talk, but let's hold off on that. What to do, and what I'll do is I'll in the next class we'll finalize that as well. What good technology we'll use to get this going. But for conference, I'm going to publish my conference from my bank. It's professional, can handle multiple people, etc. So that shouldn't be a problem. So here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put on the public settings over here. So I'm going to see I have public settings on. Go to public settings. Let's make this easier for ourselves, and let's just put on here for Android. So we're going to be going to an Android phone. So we're going to have to put some basic stuff in here. So we're going to go in detail about this another time. Don't worry about this. But basically, we're publishing to Android. The APK file is actually the package that gets that you have to put on the Android website. And if you're iOS, you have an iOS package, but you need to enter all the stuff in here. You can aspect ratio in terms of auto rotation you want turned on or full screen you turn on. So based on how you want it, you can have a landscape or auto, meaning it'll turn for you. auto orientation. Don't worry about the rendering mode. Include files if you have other files as well. So click on deployment stuff. You need to get a certificate. It'll teach you about all this stuff. Deployment type. See, get X, Y. We'll talk about this all in detail. You can make your own icons. Will the Android export on Mac sign? No, you'd have to actually. So in other words, to actually make your own. So if you're working on Windows and not on Mac, so you're in the Android world for Mac. So when you create your own certificate, once you do this, you can make your own. I'll teach you how to do this, and actually makes your own certificate, and you can use this throughout your applications. It's pretty simple, but in the world of going to the Apple Store, they actually, it's crazy. I can't tell you how difficult to make a Apple certificate. Very complicated, unless you have a Mac machine, and it makes it much easier to make an Apple-based certificate file. So, but there are ways around that. We'll talk about that as well. That's why I like going to Google. It's very simple. So you can make your own certificate, put your password there, and you could actually easily just publish. Once you set that stuff up, okay, we'll say basic for now, but we'll talk about what's required to actually publish a mobile application. So going to the Google Droid Market is very simple. We'll talk about what to fill in with all these different things over here. And once you finish, you just click on Publish. I don't have a certificate here in this one, but when you click on Publish, it'll actually make you a file, exactly what you need to go and publish it right to the Google Android store. And if you were publishing to the Apple world, besides paying $99, and you want to charge $1, Apple will probably take 40% of that. So you'd have to go through a whole. You have to submit your application, submit the price you want, and then they get back to you and say, oh, we'll take 30 cents or 40 cents. So it becomes form of negotiation at that point. If you have a really good idea, 40 cents, and there's a whole, and if they find something wrong with your application, like you use a swear word in there, they may not let you publish it. Or they find something wrong with it of how you charge people, they may not let you publish it. So that's just Apple. It is a good stock to buy, so don't take it wrong. I own a few shares myself, so I would suggest buying it as well. But it's simple just to publish on the Droid Marketplace, so we'll go from there. So we'll just go back to, and if we're just looking at the iOS, just for a quick example, I click on that for the iOS. Everyone see it says here for iOS settings. It's very similar. You set the same things up on the first general page. Deployment. You can see from there, use an iOS certificate.t12 file. Creating that on a Windows computer is like, you might as well shoot yourself first. That's how difficult it is. And then, just icons, etc. But you see, they have different icons for iPad and different icons there. But that's all pretty simple to do, and you don't really need that anyway. So cancel that. Okay, so this is how easy it is to do something in Flash. So let me just go file, exit for a second, and let's just still hitting the background. Now, the nice thing about Flash is they've done a great job in terms of optimization and running on computers. So this particular thing you're going to have, everyone see that Adobe Flash Player. That's the little menu button there. This Adobe Flash Player engine, it's a vector processor engine. We'll talk about what vector graphics are in more detail. But these things run on every operating system, so you're very fortunate. Once you do this in Windows, it works on Mac, it works, it works on Linux, it works everywhere. And that's what you see. It's a vector processing engine. And then so you can actually scale the page too. Well, this one, we don't scale this, but we can scale very nicely vectorized graphics. So here it is. And this will work on Windows. So let me close that up. Let's just start from the beginning now. Okay, let's just start. Has everyone able to, I know we had one person who couldn't install Flash Professional. Yeah, so we had a statement from Yitzhak, and he said a lot of these settings can also be adjusted in HTML, which is 100% correct. So I'm here inside of, let's just go to my directory where that index HTML was. Let's use, so I use a editor called Edit Plus 3, a very handy editor. You can use Notepad. It's just pretty good because it colors it for you. So another question, is Adobe Flash different from a Macromedia Flash MX? So the Adobe products has gone through a number of release cycles, and the Macromedia Flash was an older version of Adobe Flash Professional. So I think Macromedia Flash MX is from 2004 as a tool they used, and along the way they really extended the offering. Okay, so it's better to use an editor like this. Okay, yes, 100%. If you have Dreamweaver installed as an editor, it's a sucky editor. Edit Plus is great. Once again, there's a license on there, but you can keep, that's an indefinite license that you keep, like for like WinZip. You can keep on using WinZip. They tell you how long you've been using it for. But it's a great thing. So this thing is Edit Plus 3. You can actually, any file you can actually look at, and if it's some form of W3C compliant or XML or whatever, C++, you can just look in terms of, take a look here. So just, I'll show you something here. Project. Well, I can't find it here, but you can actually open up any kind of file here, and anything whatsoever. C++, HTML, CSS files, and I color code them according to spec. It's pretty good here as well. So this index HTML file is a basic W3C file, which you're going to see across the world of DTDs. You have to know nothing about this. This is the greatest thing in the world. They publish it for you. So we got a VI person being a smartass here. VI is also good as well. Yes, you can use, can import C#.net. Yes, good point. Flash MX is older. You can't use AS2A3, which is correct. So we'll talk about that in another session exactly. So you can use other editors here. We'll talk about C#.net in a second. So, but going back here, this index HTML has all the values you need here, and you can actually modify these when you get sort of good at this stuff. But the nice thing about Adobe is they do all the listing for you to actually make this happen. So, and I don't know if you guys play games online or other things as well. If you don't have Adobe in there, they actually pop up for you. As I highlighted this area over here, they actually put, get Adobe.Flash. They tell you how to get Adobe Flash, and it actually installs the most popular version. And all this stuff is all backwards compatible. Like, so if we develop an application in AS2, and we can play it on an AVM, it's called an ActionScript Virtual Machine or Flash Machine. You can play all versions of it you want to. Another person is Notepad++ is also a great tool for editing as well. Someone said, yeah. So we actually have someone from there's ED, which is a Unix tool, Evelyn and DOS. That's old school. Nothing about old school products, but you don't get the color coding like you do nicely in Windows here. So it's pretty good. So let me just close this up, and let's just start, and let's just ask, has anyone has problems installing EasyPHP or Flash Professional at this point? Okay. So no one has problems. When I ask that questions, the priest asked that before anyone gets married. For now, hold your peace. Haven't done either yet. Okay, done. Get it done. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Haven't tried. It's pretty clear. Still installing Flash. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll just keep on talking general stuff until everyone has this stuff installed and working. If you double click on index HTML directly, that should work 100%. So if you just double click on index HTML directly, that will launch into a browser. So for example, let me turn off EasyPHP for a second and watch what happens. Let's just stop it. So here we stop. And I'll say exit. Here, we're going to exit PHP. So we're going to stop the web server. And you'll see that once we stop the web server, we can actually attach the web server. Now watch this. So based on one person's comment, if you just go to your test directory and you click on index.html, directly, I go here, I go open. Can everyone see that open? So you launch, it'll open, but if you're running IES, you'll see this. It's a restriction. You can say allow blog content. So you want to say allow. Click on yes to allow to allow the content, and click on yes. It will work too as well. So this will work as is. So the key here thing is to recognize is that it was a good comment from the audience. Is that if you have the basic index.html, and if you have just a Swift file that doesn't access any other things on the web, you can launch it directly into your browser. It loads directly into your browser. But if you use services that require a web service, such as you want to load up data from a back end, PHP MySQL, you have to load it within a web server, an Apache or a basic HTML server. Talk about web servers in a few minutes anyways. To understand what are web servers, they have Apache, IIS, Tomcat, all these type of different things. Work with and what are they, what do they do, blah, 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 blah. So we'll get there in a few minutes. So basically, you can launch up these things, and you can launch, if you just click on the Swift itself, you can open the Swift too, see the Swift file. So you can see how portable this stuff pretty is. 100%, it's still inside hosting plan to technically set up a test folder and STP account and do a yes. Rich media server, QTSS unnecessary. I'm not sure which media. Okay, so there are no. Okay, so going back to some questions from the audience. So how do I run EasyPHP? So just go to Start, Program Files, and you'll see EasyPHP. Just click on that. So you see here. So you just click on EasyPHP, and now you look in the task tray. So if you look on the task tray where my mouse is, lower right-hand corner, you'll see a little icon for EasyPHP. You see it started, and you click on it with your right mouse button, and you'll see this little window over here. Wait 1 second. Hold on. So here we have different things. You can take a look at different things here. Explore, administration, local web, restart, stop. So pretty much this is the job of your hosting. It's pretty much to keep this open all day. The hosting company, they pretty much have a hosting account. I get this error message because I'm actually not connected to the web really. Don't worry about that. So administration. So pretty much when I log into my EasyPHP, these tools, MySQL and MySQL admin are tools that your local hosting provider offers. Very powerful tools. Like I said, Facebook runs everything on MySQL with some other type of web technologies they use. They embrace all types of web technology tools as well. But this is a good way how to get you started. And I think for nothing, you can get a free web hosting account or pay $2, get a web hosting account, and you can have a PHP, MySQL. That's all you need to run some pretty heavy-duty stuff. And once again, also the mobile applications too. Once you have a mobile application on Android, you can actually use your back-end service, such as that you have on your website, to run as well. And as well as Google itself, Google Toolkit has a way how you can use the Google App Engine or the Google database persistence engine to actually run a database in the Google environment. So you don't even need to have a like if you want to persist data, that means you want a database to store data. Like for example, we're making a game and we want to have high scores. So what you do is every time someone plays a game, you got the highest score, you'd actually put their name and high score in the database. And next time the game starts up, you'd read the database up. And so with the Google App Engine, you can actually use Google to actually host your database. It's pretty cool, and I can show you that at the end of the session as extra. But pretty much all web hosting accounts has PHP and MySQL, and we will be doing that easily using PHP to read from a database or flat files, whatever you need, and it works very easily in the actually Flash Professional. Now, a little thing about web servers. Does anyone know about web servers or not? Give me some feedback here if anyone knows about web servers, or a little bit about web servers, so I know where to start from. Gotcha. Be honest here, I need to know exactly how it is so I can start from the right place. Okay, keep going, and anytime you guys have a problem, if I'm talking too much, just let me know too. Honesty is the best policy. Okay, so when someone says Flash 5, that means Flash CS5. So Flash CS5, I'm assuming that's what you mean there, is if you want to do mobile applications, Flash CS5, they do have upgrades. They have some patches that you can run, but I suggest going to Flash CS5.5.5 because for Flash 5 you would need a special package that is not published anymore, which I have anyways. But if I'm in Flash 5, I have a package for you that runs for Android 2.6 or something, which you can use to make an Android application, and you have to get another package from Adobe to run this. It could be done, but I suggest not to use Flash 5. So just download Flash CS5 5.5. Okay, so I got everyone back. Okay, so a web server, as everyone knows, is something that runs on the web. It's an application. So a basic web server listens for a connection, on a port. Oh, no, it's too technical there, but you see that number of port in here where my mouse is at? Let's just take a look at that. So it's only about ports are, but a web server is an application that sits around and listens for a connection, and based on its connection actually displays content. So in the basic world, Apache used HTML, which was the basic way. So let me just show you a little. So this is basic HTML. Let me just blow it up for you guys. View. Do I want to make this bigger? Is there any problems viewing my screen? QuickTime streaming service. Okay, we'll talk about that in a second. Two more views. Where's my view here? It's small. Okay, so let me get this bigger. View and browser, full screen. Come on, dudes. Screen font, texture bigger. I just want to blow up. I want to get like the view, to make it bigger, not the screen font. Slow. Okay, we got that. Okay, hold on. 2 more views. There's gotta be something to make this bigger. View screen font. I got you there. I just want to. I'm sort of lazy here, but we're gonna do that screen font. Let's just make the screen font bigger, larger font. Alright, do that. Let's keep on going. That sucks to make it bigger here. There gotta be something like that. But until we find out, let's just keep on making a larger font. So can people see it now? So, just to ask a question here, is that from the audience, we have a question. I can create a website in Dreamweaver, so it's Flash just for animation. We can actually create a website using it. I'm confused by using a separate editor for HTML. So, HTML is text. So I'm just using any editor to display text. So it's text here, and anyone knows about HTML, you can. Just watch this. You can move things over a little bit. So it's text. So it's basic text, like ASCII text. And what an HTML web server does, it actually reads the HTML tags and actually displays things there. So that's the nice thing about it. So pretty much everything at this point, and I can make these, files local if you want to. But what I can do is I can actually run this in a browser right now by clicking the View in Browser. And that's actually what HTML does. It actually, takes text or whatever, pictures, and actually makes it look very nice to actually, put on the web. So as going forward, HTML5 is actually the next version of HTML, which incorporates video, basic animation, etc. But it won't replace Flash for what it does. Flash is a very robust container of running a lot of different things. HTML tries it for video, and there's a lot of vector stuff. I don't know much about HTML5, but I know it's not as powerful as Flash, and I can assure you when HTML hits the market, Flash already has something where you can actually export your Flash into HTML5 to run, etc. So, Adobe has that covered. They've been around for a long time. So Adobe is pretty powerful stuff, and we'll see. You'll get into it. So that's answering one of the question is, you can do anything in Flash. You can make a website. See, with going to the basic web server stuff, when you go to websites, when you click on Submit, there's basic technology, client-server technology playing in there. And so sometimes use certain web technologies. You actually make a request to the server, and that request to the server then could actually auto-generate or dynamically create HTML, and then sends it back to the client, which is you, to display things. So sometimes you saw an earlier version is, when you hit, button, you get a little hour button there, the screen blinks out, and then something new pops in, and then technology got better. They have JavaScript, and then they had Ajax, which, pretty much you can actually submit pieces of your, of your HTML to go back and forth without actually having the whole page turn, white or whatever. It's not there. The problem with Ajax or asynchronous JavaScript that is very dependent on browser and Java, and so it's very difficult in practice to actually make that work in real time. Because there's still problems with running Mozilla Firefox, running IE, new versions of IE. What else you got? The other versions, Opera, all these things. There's tons of So when you make Ajax solutions, you have to either buy professional packs, which cost a lot of money, or you can use Flash to do this as well. Which just costs a little money, but you can get around that by just keep on installing it on your machine. Etc. So pretty much HTML is text, and HTML server just reads these tags: HTML, head, title, body, etc. And so nice thing with other HTML files, you can actually use, if you click on HTML, you can say you can make a table. So click on the table button, and see, I'm making a 3x3 table over here by just clicking on that. So, okay, hold on, we'll get to a second. So here, I just made a table. So let's just fill this in with my name, Abe. Let's go 1, 2. I'm just filling in this table over here. 3, 4. And I'll put Flash. And let's put one second. I'm just filling this table in very quickly. 5, 6. So I made a simple table in HTML. Let's just run it. So here's your table. Very funny. I can't spell with crap. It's one of my downfalls. Um, so, great question from the audience. Sorry to interrupt, but when you get a chance, is Flash universal? Why can't my Android phone play Flash files? I mean, it's truly universal. Yes, Flash is truly universal. It's just Flash itself is a runtime environment application that runs in the background. It so happens that the Google Android phone did want to put that out there, but they just didn't have it out there yet. So in the newer versions of Android, such as Honeycomb, which is 3.0, or I think 2.8 or something, Flash did run. It's just Google's put it on the roadmap there. So, and so realize that it does take some memory when you run these things. So yes, Android 2.2 you can run it on as well. But going forward, all Android Playbook versus RAM would have to be a great device. The Android does actually play Flash. So someone said 2.2 is called Froyo, which is the Google Android operating system. All that stuff plays Flash pretty well, and you can download applications. Google has their own Chrome, which plays Flash. So all that stuff will play Flash for you. The only one is that Apple products don't play Flash, and I think they took a hit in the marketplace, but I'm not sure that's if they hit in the marketplace. That Chrome is a browser that runs here, that runs in Windows. So where was I now? Okay, so we got the basic web server. Now let's talk about when you run other things in your web server. So the basic Apache. If you go to the basic web, basic HTTP server, it just pretty much does HTTP tags. So if it's pictures, if it's animated icons, there's a whole list of what HTTP web server can do, and there's many of them out there. Now, as web servers you see run ASP.NET, run Java, JSP stuff. It happens that these web servers needed a container to run in, and you heard the word container a lot. A container is just an application environment to run something in. So Tomcat and IS, they can actually run. Tomcat runs Java programs in there. It actually opens up a Java runtime environment inside of the web server and runs Java type applications. So JSP, Java, and all those types of things as well. And then there's IS, which actually runs ASP.NET or .NET applications. And so you need a different type of web server to actually run these things. Primarily IS runs everything that you want to run. It runs Flash, it runs ASP.NET, it runs IS, it runs PHP, so it runs anything. It runs Java server side. Yeah, so pretty much a Tomcat web server, in terms of does it actually runs JSP or just runs Java applications. So as we saw from the web server, when we click on HTML, it loads up this HTML text file. So Apache web server or Tomcat will actually load up a text file that has Java bindings to it, and it will just Java text. You'll see it now. It actually run it. So if your Java programmers use Tomcat to run this in the actual container. Okay, thank you, Marianne. Appreciate that. Any questions? So mind you, I get up every morning at 5 o'clock to be at my desk at 7:30. So I'm really coming down now. Any questions? Am I ranting too long? Okay, now I work in New York City. I live in New Jersey, so So I take a bus in every day. It's a pain. But pretty much, some of the details about all this stuff about web servers and BS like that, no need to know that. Pretty much if you work in Flash Professional and you know some basic PHP stuff with MySQL, that's all you need to know. And that's a good idea. Put a little break in there maybe. Got a cup of coffee. I agree. Okay, so next time. So we'll have breaks along the way, simple breaks, until we get our technical difficulties out of the way. It was a very difficult time today. So you need to know nothing about all that type of detail, really, because most of your hosting, that you have has all these tools for you. So just to show you some of what what MySQL admin could do. So if you open up PHP and you click on MySQL admin, it's actually pretty slick here, and I'll teach you guys how to do all this. You'd be surprised how simple it is to make yourself a database and to get things going. So, it says create a new database. I'll call it test. So you put your test there, and it's pretty much hit the create button. Database has been created. Create a new table. So let's call it test1 underscore table. Of course, I can't spell either. Number of fields. Let's put just 2 fields. And then click on the go button. And I have a table, and pretty much I'm going to fill it in. Let's just call it ID, and call it name. I'm making 2 things in my table. You know nothing about databases besides what I tell you. And we'll talk about what these things mean, but let's just, just basic stuff right now. So once I get this going, let me just blow my page up here. So we'll talk about some of these things here, attributes, all this other type of stuff here, auto increment. We'll talk about all this type of stuff. So let's just go. Where's my save button here? No wonder. Sorry, I got 150%. 1 second. So if you look at, okay, there you go. So this is pretty much, sorry. So pretty much to make a database table, this is all that you do. And so, do different ways how to make a, oh, sorry about that. Okay, hold on. Sorry about that. So I'm just showing you basic the tools that we have available on every website. So let's just go to my manager. So if I'm on Easy PHP, so if I click on my Easy PHP, and if I go to the admin page, and if I click on, see where my pointer is, Manage MySQL with PHP admin. I click on that. So MySQL PHP is actually a PHP application that you can create databases and do everything you need. So we created a test database. So this course focuses mainly on Flash or PHP and MySQL heavily as well. So the course is primarily focused in Flash, about 75% Flash, and the rest, and as well as PHP and MySQL. But PHP and MySQL are very simple to learn, and what they do, they're just back-end, conduits to get information back and forth. They could be pictures from a database, names, information, high scores in your game. Very simple stuff. So you'll see that PHP and MySQL is very simple, but PHP and MySQL are very extensive tools to do anything you want to do. We can create a chat server in PHP and MySQL, all different kinds of things. So the course is focused on that as well. So WordPress, we're not be learning WordPress, just because I never did WordPress, so I just know these tools as well. And you see it's very simple to do, building a database table. You don't need to know much about this stuff. I just encourage people to play with this stuff. You can't break it. You pretty much you learn these things by just playing with it. And once again, you can Google things left and right about how to set up a MySQL table very simply using PHPMyAdmin. So there's tons of good Googling you can do on the web that explains things on YouTube, good stuff like that to learn these tools. What I'll be showing you is how to actually use these tools to make a website, to make a game, maybe we'll do a chat server, and all the little pieces they don't teach you in some of these online tutorials, and questions you can ask against that as well. So you'll have all the basic knowledge to go forward, and you'll see with this basic knowledge you can do some pretty heavy type of stuff. And with Flash, you'd be surprised how easy it is to make a website with like buttons, and it's very sleek because it's vectorized graphics, and you can look. That's pretty cool. And there's tons of free Flash stuff on the web. You can just download stuff, download SLAs, incorporate it into your stuff. You can ActionScript is very easy. It's very easy. So we won't be learning any other types of back-end stuff, which is WordPress, which I think we got from someone else, which is CMS software. Use PHP and MySQL. Maybe at the end, if we have time, we can do some of that stuff. We can learn that together. But it's all very simple stuff to do, and so at the next course, I want people to have everything installed. Make sure you can run stuff like I did. Okay, that's fine as well. Someone's just giving a demo of other technologies. If we have time, I'll make them the presenter in this thing. They can maybe teach something if we have time at the end. But I want to make sure that there are Flash professionals running. What else? Easy PHP is running, and we'll teach you how to do some basic stuff. And so what I'll do is I'll try to, at the end of the course, I'll put together publishing notes in terms of some of the files if you want to. That's pretty much what I've done in terms of open up Adobe Flash Professional, open up a template, save and then publish, and then you have exactly what you have. Want that directly, so open up Adobe Flash. Let's turn this off. So let's just go through the basics again. I need people to do before the next class, because once you jump in, it's going to be a little more, I want to, 1 second, here was my Adobe thing go here. Okay, Adobe Flash Professional. We're gonna have a schedule of things to do. Trying to make sure it gets there. It's going to move a little quicker because I want to get to mobile application development by the end of the course and make sure you really fully understand all this stuff, and how to use Adobe Flash. But you'll see that if you're somewhat creative, a little bit creative, you'll see it's actually pretty simple. So Adobe Flash starts up. You can go to more templates. So Air for Android, look at that. So these are actually templates used for making an Android application. 800 by 400 is a basic mobile animation, banners, media playback. These are different things that you can use, and they're actually out there for you. And we'll talk about all these things if you want to, media stuff. Presentations in the templates. Let's see. Okay, so these are presentation and sample files as well. You can look at. So drag. So you have a drag and drop sample. Click on that, and it's pretty simple stuff. How to do things once you understand the concept. Preloaders for Flash. Perspective zoom. Look at that, it's pretty cool. Just click on that. Click OK. it's gonna load stuff in there. Funky cow there. Two things to look at as we're closing up the session is that we have a thing called a timeline down there. And if you little red thing here, and this is got the head. It's like you're in a movie. So pretty much Flash is about developing a movie, and you have different layers. And so watch this. If you look over at my icon you can see the little eye thing over there. I just do programming in general. Flash, you consider it an immediate e-commerce or app programmer or none of the above. I develop applications. I'm actually a physicist by training through college. Wise, I work for a bank developing option models. And we do programming as well. But primarily I just pick, cool stuff, app programming. We do app programming for the trading desk. We develop applications for traders for phones and for tablets as well. Once you have an idea of what to do, you can just go and implement it right now, and you're working somewhere, and you can start, whatever you're doing, you can put something on the phone for someone you're working for, and you'll see how pretty easy to do, and you become like this big shot, and they pay you more money. That's the goal here. So that's going to hide all layers. Watch that. So I can hide my layers. So here, my layer, that's white screen and back, that's actually what my properties file here is. So if I go and document properties here, so here, document properties, and so that's pretty much I don't know if you can see that button. If you guys can see that, so you can set up the dimensions of what your viewing area in Flash is, and we can talk about how to make that bigger or smaller. But you set up 800 by 400 site. That's pretty much what the size of the phones are. Android phones are 800 by 400. So click on cancel. So I click on the eye, it's back there. So pretty much I can turn things off. Sorry about that. I'm clicking too fast. So pretty much that's it. So you turn all the stuff up. Now I'll turn it on. But watch what I do. Watch this. Very simple. I go to Control, Test Movie and Flash Professional, and look at that. Watch what happens. Whoa, it's pretty cool. So it keeps on doing that. And we'll show you something. So here, it's actually pretty much all done by these layers over here of putting on different things in the background. And we'll show you. You can actually, so you can actually do something on the timeline itself by doing graphical things, or you can actually program this to do it automatically through a thing called Action Script. So let's just save this as usual. So we want to go Save As. So let's put this in our www folder. So here, Untitled, let's just call it Untitled 1. Let's just save it right there. And right there, let's go right to Publish. So going back, Publish Settings. Click on Publish Settings. We just leave the basic settings on over here. Let's not play with anything else. Click OK. File, Publish. So let's just close this up. I'm going to go Exit. Of course, you want to save that. Let's go to my directory right now. So here we have the Untitled application that we just did. And so let's just rename Untitled 1 to index.html. And now let's just go to my www directory. I click on the root over here. Everyone see that? And now there's that cool cow running on the web now. So you can take this right now and put this on the website. And so you see what's going on here is that the graphics over here are scale automatically very smoothly. These are called vectorized graphics. EPS is vectorized. These are all Adobe type things. EPS, SVG, these are common products for vectorized things. So with vectorized graphics, you can scale up and down to your heart's content on something. And so you hear this, there's other types of vectorized formats from Microsoft, etc. But Adobe is the people who made it. And so, once it's going to vectorize, graphic, it's great. So anything you do in Adobe tools, such as what I'm popping up over here. So I don't have all Adobe tools here installed. So in Flash Professional, you can make vectorize, saying Adobe, what's that? Fireworks, Adobe Illustrator, all the Adobe products. You can actually make vectorized graphics. And so here's a great case of it. You can zoom in. Look at that. I'm zooming in too much, and you can move the screen around. Let me zoom out. So by using these things over here, so that's it. So I expect people to know how to do this. It's pretty simple. Open up Flash, pick a template, save it, run it, open up EasyPHP, or not. If EasyPHP is a problem, don't open up EasyPHP. We'll get that next time. But we're going to go through, next time we open up, we'll just have we'll have just a few minutes on just how to get stuff and running again. And we're going to start plugging through this. So you guys can start, perhaps, doing this on your side. Any questions before I go? agolko@pobox.com for any questions. And then we'll just converge on some technology and hopefully it'll be a little more smoother next time. Any questions? Any suggestions? Send them my way. How was that? Okay, let's see my email address. So send me an email. I have a BlackBerry. I work full time, so I'll get back to you. Don't worry. Oh, 8:30. You're right. Good point. 6:30. I thought it was 6 to 8. Good point. I'm sorry about that. All right. Good point, Marianne. Okay. So we're still going on. Let's take a 5-minute break so I can have a sip of my Diet Coke. Any questions? Anything you want to review? Has people set up their tools yet? So Dropbox. So hold on, I'll go here. Okay, so someone said I'll send out an invite later from Dropbox. You can for large files sends the group. Okay, that's a good point. I need some place. Oh, I'm going to ask OU to set this up. Let them do a little work here. Set something up. You can access these files here. All right, thank you, everyone. So, any other questions? Okay, let me see. So we have a lot of people here. Okay, so has anyone not set up the stuff yet? Okay, so I'm assuming everyone has Flash installed in EasyPHP. Okay. Okay. Okay, let's just start. Let's close some windows here. Still running in the background. Excuse me. All right. everyone, please open up your Flash Professional. Adobe Flash Files. Keep these handy down there. Oh, so just let me just take you through some other tools of Flash, so you can download them as well. So Adobe's other programming tools for Flash technology. Just called Adobe Flash Builder. This is for some coding jocks. Everything's based on Flash technology, but it's a whole different way of understanding the technology, and we'll view it again. But I just want to show you what it looks like. It actually it's actually built on a tool called Eclipse, which is a IDE for development, and so it's more for people who've coded, understanding a little more in the Flash client-server technology. Very powerful. Every major website is built on top of Adobe Flex. It has excellent bindings for client-server, real-time. So we've built on the trading desk a lot of applications using Adobe Flex, and it happens that and so you can just take a look at something over here. So it's based on a thing called Flex 4.5. Has some extra code action script, which you'll see in Flash. It also has a thing called MXML, which is its own XML language, and it works pretty much the same way that Flash does. You go to run, you launch something. So here's something that we put together. So let me just go test button for something. I don't know if you guys can see this or not. Hold on. So this is Flex that can control things through programming, and so I can make something grow larger and smaller here. Something I worked on for something else. So as you roll on it, you'll see it gets bigger or smaller. And this is vectorized graphics. I can shrink things down pretty small. It's not good. Hold on. 50. So I can make my graphics go smaller and larger. This is Flex, and we could. So this is pretty much to do that. It's pretty simple. I got some coding over here, but pretty much I set everything up through XML. A little more difficult, but interesting enough here is if I have a Swift, which is a compiled Flash application, I can actually take things out of it in other Adobe applications and use things, so which I'm doing over here by using that command. So that's it. We'll just get rid of that because it's a little more difficult. But it's pretty extensive. I mean, there's a huge need for Adobe Flex developers who know backend, and so you can use Adobe Flex with PHP and MySQL. Very powerful. We run a lot of stuff here on the trading side and real-time trading that actually has Flex front end, Adobe, and with backend, MySQL and PHP running in real time. And sometimes you can use it for mobile application development too. So take a look at that as well if you're more of a coding jock. But we built a lot of phone applications for all different kinds of people on the trading desk in real time. So people would have Droid. So a lot of people, you can get a Droid tablet. Yes, it's called Flex, Adobe Flex. So with Flex Professional, we could attach the PHP to any back-end service and then get information out of it and publish right to the phone. So there can be P&L, option data, security data. It's pretty simple. So we'll get you up and going with that as well. So pretty powerful. Let's just launch Flash Professional. Let's just go through the basic tools here. So the first time you launch Flash Professional, it's going to be up in a second. There's some key things I want to show you. So let's just create new when I click on a thing called ActionScript 3.0. Let's just pause for a second. Take this beautiful tool in, because this is where you guys are going to live out of for the next couple of weeks. Now, as everyone got this open, let's just take a look at some key pieces over here. So this white thing is called the stage. Everything's happening to the stage. So in other words, everything Okay, I'm going to hold. Okay, so I'm going to hold off for a second. It says, I just want to make sure everyone sees what we have on the stage. All right, so this white part is called the stage, and this is exactly what is when you run something in Flash runs inside of. That's like your screens. So pretty much over here where my mouse is, I have my tools panel over here, and the tool panel, basic drawing tools, and what you draw is actually drawing vectorized graphics. So we're going to talk about the different tool sets today, and so we're going to talk about the timeline, which is what over here called the timeline, and that is actually, when making a movie, that's how things work in Flash. You can make little movies inside of movies, or we'll show you how to do that. Everything goes in this timeline, and there's a thing called layers in the timeline. So if you see over here, I go to layer, I insert a layer. I have the layer, and just as I said, layers. If I go on the top layer and I click on my box over here, I create a box. On my screen, I put a box there, and that's a box on that layer. And let's say I go to this layer, and I create another box over here. Let me just change that color. We'll show you how to do that in a second. Let's make that color. Sorry about that. Things are not working out here on my Mac so well. So here, we'll change the color very quickly. And so we have two layers over here. And then one layer. And second layer. And so when you build up the top layer is what's actually displayed on top of the whole application, but you can also grab it and you can move the layer down, which I'm doing right now. So if you see my mouse by the layers, you'll see I'm moving layer 2 on top of layer 1. Say over here, so I built two layers. I can control. I can go test in. I can go test in Flash Professional. So here I go to Flash Professional and I go launch, and here's my pretty much website that I've made here. So it scales. That's what you see on your website. So key things in the few key items in the timeline I want you guys to know about. So pretty much the timeline is where you control everything. You can control everything through a timeline either by graphics. You can move graphics. So let me just show you quickly. Delete layer. So over here, you could actually click in a frame, as you can say, insert keyframe. Over here, we'll talk about what those mean. I can move that box over here, and I can do a thing called create classic tween. A tween is for between. We'll get more details on that in a second. And watch what happens when I make that little arrow over there. You see the arrow down there, but watch what happens. It becomes animation automatically. So when I go to Control, Test Movie, Flash Professional, it keeps on going and going and going because we never put a stop statement in there, but that's pretty much what you can do in terms of graphic animation. And that can be a button too. You can make it a button too. You can turn this little flash thing into a button, a moving button. Or an object. You can have a game where you can shoot something, and you have a gun and shoot a little thing. And so that's what pretty much we do over here, is that we control objects, and they're called symbols. That's the current name for things inside the timeline. Either it's on a timeline, or you can do this through ActionScript, which is the coding base for it. So you can switch off either or. And so just a quick thing over here, I'm going to say Insert Layer, and see a layer is blank. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an action over here. everyone see that's the actions frame for 1. I'm going to say stop. And we'll talk about that, what that means. And watch what happens when I go stop. I will control test movie. So what happened was my player, or my pink line, is stopped in layer 1 over here because I put actually stop over there. So when the first time the flash starts up, it hits the first frame and says stop. Makes sense? So if I would want to, let's just get rid of that. I remove stop from frame 1. And let's say I insert keyframe over here. And I'm in this frame over here because I put my player head over there. And I click on stop. Hold on, I'll answer that question in 1 second. So once I put the frame in at that time over here, and you see that frame 1, there is no there. And I can just minimize my action frames over here. And I say control, test movie, it stops there. Because I put a stop in the frame. You can have it, so you can actually program it as well. But that's basically what you do in Flash. And so with Flash, inside this timeline, you know, there's some basic things there are some basic things here. So we got layers, what we just talked about, and so inside this layer, I don't know if you can see that. I don't know if I can make my screen larger, but if you look in the lower left-hand panel, there's a new layer button over here. A new folder, you can add a folder inside the layers to keep things organized. And you can delete layers over here. So okay, so going back to that question over here, is that we'll talk about frames in a second, about how to put a script in a frame. Except it's pretty simple. Let me just show you a few things. So little buttons over here, all these little buttons, like for example, like it says new layer over here, so your mouse is very small. You can actually click on with your right mouse button, and you say insert layer, lock layers, cut layers, copy layers, and we'll talk about all that stuff over there, what those mean. You do a lot with this stuff. And there's different ways of, how do I get this bigger for you guys? Let me see if I can get my view larger. Zoom in. No, wrong zoom. It's hard to see that, but in the lower and the bottom over here, you see frames per second of frame rate. It's like a movie. How many frames I'm going to play per second across this timeline? You know, this is a pretty static over here, but you can make the frames go smaller, faster, slower, and different animations. You can have different frame rates over there to make it go faster and slower. We'll talk about those and actually get more details. So going back to here, that little pink thing is called a playhead, and I can manually move my playhead. Let's get this action script out of the way. I can manually move my playhead in the timeline. You can see things move, and so the reason why it's going very smooth right now, that thing is moving very smoothly, is because I actually did a classic tween, a classic B-tween. We'll talk about that, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes. The eye is called the show or hide all layers. You can click on the top eye and everything gets erased, or you click on that and you can just work on that. So when you're drawing or doing different types of animations in different layers or frames, you can turn things off very easily. You can lock the frame as well, so you can't modify nothing. So if I put a lock on that frame, now you can do anything you want to. This box is not moving, you don't have access to it. So you can easily do artwork or do other things in different frames. You can import graphics into the system and then put the graphics up on here and then animate those graphics, which we'll show you as well. So we got that whole timeline of the way. So now, each of these cells we're seeing over here, I click into, and you see it moving, and there's frames, I would say, different frames here. is that there are different types of frames. So one is called keyframe. So it's over here. So if I insert, so I can insert a frame. So here, let's see. There's insert frame, remove frames, keyframe, insert blank, convert to a keyframe. So a keyframe is actually, you would actually put a symbol or some form of animation, and we'll get to that soon. You can insert a frame, which is a basic frame over here. So if you wanted to put some scripting into a frame, you'd say insert keyframe. Oh, we have insert over there, and you can say actions. And so let me get my actions dialog box up here. I lost it. So here. And so this particular action is actually in, let me just open this action box up a little bit. You can see that here, layer 3, frame 1. And so, you know, so we can actually put there frozen JPEG. Yes, you can actually import JPEG images, and we'll talk about that and how do we animate things. And we're gonna actually talk about that. But pretty much, it gives you the different scenes over here. So here we have layer frame 1, frame 25. Interesting enough, I just clicked on frame 25. My play, so once I move my playhead there, over there, so we have frame 2. That's where it was over there, and it's a pretty simple type of scripting language called ActionScript, and you'll see it's pretty simple to do. We're going to be talking some basic ActionScript stuff, because the only way to get data from a back-end service is by using ActionScript. And you'll see it's pretty simple to make a request out. It's a lot of copy and paste. Like once you know how to do it, you just copy and paste how to make a request for something as a back end, and once you get back information, you'll see that the code is very high-level code. How to get data out of the information getting back. But we're not going to do that until like the third or fourth session about how do we work with the back end. We're going to be focusing just on, we're working with Flash here. Someone said that they're frozen. So I'm going to close this up over here. Okay, good, he's back. Bad connection. So, is everyone with me? Am I talking too fast? Okay, so now in these key frames over here, is everyone fine? Questions, whatever? That's actually a good question. Still awake, thank you very much. Appreciate that one. So, in a keyframe is a frame a lot of things happen in. You could actually, so you can put an ActionScript commands in there. So you can actually change an object or change the symbols. You can change the symbol's location. You can modify a symbol, which is one of the objects there. And so with a keyframe, you can actually do a tween so question is when you insert a frame, does it lengthen the animation? Yes. So my animation goes only 25 frames. So this will play in 1 second. 24 frames per second will play second up. So, for example, what I'm going to do is I'm going to darken this whole area over here. I'll be patient here until everyone gets this refresh on the screen. I've darkened a bunch of things by holding down my left mouse button and darkening a bunch of frames. And I'm going to say insert frame. If everyone sees that. And so I made an insert frame over here. And here my movie just now is 37 frames long. And so 24 frames per second. If I go Control, Test Movie, and Flash Professional, it's just now a little slower now. So over here, or what I can do is I can click in this frame over here, and I go in the last frame. I bring up my action script over here. I can get rid of stop over there, so that I have no more stops in my animation. And if I go control, I go test movie, it'll just keep on repeating and repeating and repeating. For example, if I want to get a little, so next, any questions on frames? Is this a stop in layer 1 or layer 3? It applies to keyframe as well. Yeah, so any frame that I insert makes the actual movie go longer if I insert frames. I had some pretty movies. You'll see that they can be like hundreds of frames long and multiple layers, and you'll see use some pretty heavy animation. The size of the flash SWF after it comes out of there is very small. It's very optimized. Is a stop in layer 1 or layer 3? So it happens that I put the action script. It's a good question. Any keyframe, anywhere you want to, I can put action script code. So I can put action script here in layer 3. I can put action script in layer 2. I can put some action script over here. So if I say actions over here, so here I can actually put some action script right in the layer over here. If you want to do that, we can actually do that as well. Action script goes anywhere you want to. Can you make it move smoothly? Yes, you can make it actually run very smoothly. And there's different ways how to do that. We're going to talk about motion editor going forward, and about making this run very smoothly. Like when you play games online through Flash, things move pretty smoothly. And so there's actually ways to control all that kind of stuff. So any basic questions on that? And so you can just go anywhere. So you can, let's go and create and insert a new layer. Go over here. So what I'll do is I'll make the layer invisible for a second, and I'll insert a keyframe. Or if you put the playhead, how can you view? Okay, we'll talk about it in a second. So if I put my playhead on 15, and I go to my panel for a second, and I click on, let's click on circle. So I hold on the square, hold on circle, and if I draw a circle over there, you see that layer in my layer 4. I'll click back on my arrow tool. You see that it came in frame 1. We'll talk about importing pictures in a second. So there it came frame 1 because I didn't have any keyframes set up to put it in. So what I can do is I can take that particular, I can hold my mouse button, do a left mouse button click on layer 4, and I can move that all the way to, I can move that. I hold on my mouse button, I drag it to my 21st frame, and now it's there. So if I move my playhead back to 0, you see I don't have that anymore. So I will unclick my eye, so I can see all layers there, and as I move my, see how it appears now. Interesting enough, something is either clicking over here in layer 4 in the last frame, and if I insert keyframe over there, see that this keyframe over here pretty much created another circle over there, and we'll just do something very interesting, and we'll show you this next time around. Well, over there, we'll just move this over here. So, so you see I have this block over here. I have the circle over here. So let's just go insert classic tween over here, and you see this box turned, this box turned something over here. What I can do is once it turns this thing, it's called a symbol. We'll talk about that more in a second. I can actually see it says in the properties box, I can take my alpha, which is transparency, and make it 0. And now watch what happens. So I made that particular instance 0. And now, because that's also a symbol, and we're doing like a little, PowerPoint presentation deal on that. We'll talk about how to do that. It's a complicated idea, but it's actually pretty simple. But what I'll do is over here is I'll go to Control, Test Movie, in Flash Professional. And so pretty much we're playing a timeline, so it's, pretty nifty stuff over here. And so the key here is seeing that these is that an object becomes a symbol, a graphics object is called a symbol. And what happens is when you make things, when you make a graphics object, and in order to animate it, what you do other things is it becomes a symbol. And that's an important thing over here. And a symbol, let's just look at that, a property of a symbol. Let's go here in the library. I'm in the library. We'll talk about what libraries are. And a symbol could be a graphic. So can you guys see that for a second? In the symbol properties, it could be a movie clip, button, a graphic. So a symbol is an object that are objects in Flash, which can animate to become movie clips, they actually become buttons, and you could do a lot of different things with a symbol. I can make it a button. When you hover over it, changes color. I can make a movie clip where I can have a movie inside of a symbol, a movie clip for that, and I can make that movie clip a button as well. So I can actually tell that movie clip to be a button. But this is basic stuff, and we'll talk about more of that in a second. But we'll talk about symbols and all that type of stuff because we're just going to start an application. So maybe we'll make a simple game, simple skateboard game or something. Cursory skateboard game. So if you want to import, just as closing, you want to import graphics into Flash. So let me just quickly. Let me see if I can find something to import. So if you have a graphic or something that you want to install, you can just drag and drop it. Bear with me for 1 second while I find you a good graphic. Oh, okay, I think that's some stuff. Bin, where's my... So you can take a JPEG. Can't find a good JPEG here. Web apps. Root. So here's a GIF file. Tomcat, there you go. So you can take a Tomcat and you can drop it into Flash like that, a little GIF file. And you see that Flash. And there's my little Tomcat dude. So what's happening is there. So that you drop that right inside of here, and so what you do is you say you do a click on that, and you 1 second, and you say convert to symbol to do animation. So we'll call this cat. It's a movie clip. So if you look now over here, you see cat over here inside my library. So let me just delete layer. So what I'll do is I'll delete this layer over here in layer 1. And what I'll do is I'm going to click in layer 3 over here. I'm going to take my cat and I'm going to drop it into this layer over here. Oh, I think I dropped it into this last layer. So I'll just move it over here. So I move my cat into frame 1. And I'm going to click in the end layer and I'm going to say insert keyframe. Oh. 1 second. Bear with me for 1 second. Okay, here, so once again I drop that into layer 1 and I click in the last frame and I say insert keyframe. And you see now that symbol is also there. So this is the starting of making a tween. So here, I can take that and I can move it over here. And I can go to my properties file over here. I'll teach you guys how to do this. It's not a difficult thing. And I can actually make it smaller. So click on this little thing called a free transform tool. And I make it smaller like that. And once I do that, I go back to here and I say, create classic tween on the cat. And now watch what happens. It gets smaller. So when I go Control, Test Movie, Flash Professional, keeps on going and going. Very simple, rudimentary stuff. So, and you can see some of the possibilities as you can do things. Close it up. And so that's pretty much, play with that some of that stuff. Doing the tween stuff, I'm not going to expect you guys to know that, but I recommend you guys open up Flash, understand some of the basics of template and then setting that up. So yeah, cat was important. I drag and drop that thing on the stage. Pretty much I take a GIF from anywhere in my Windows, drop into Flash, and I convert it to a symbol. But I want you to open up Flash. I want you to learn how to run that in terms of, take a template, open up FLA, open template up, and then run it, save it, etc. Easy PHP, I don't expect you guys know how to do that, but we'll get there. Because we're going to pretty much start with a game. We'll have like a 5-minute review, but we're going to start with a simple little game of maybe a shooting game or something, or race car game or something like that in Flash. And we'll teach you how to do that. And we're going to go through different pieces of that. Okay, so any questions before I go? Email me for questions, give me some feedback. Honest feedback is always good. I appreciate that. Any questions, just please email me anything before I go, or we go. All right. So listen. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. And we're going to start going at a much rapid pace next time we go around. And I'll send out some technology we'll be using, my conference line we'll be using, so we can avoid all this unnecessary startup cost, as well as chat stuff, so we can all see everyone's chat as well. We'll find something for that as well. Good evening. Let me see, stop sharing, record.